Yeah, it is muted.
We're going live on YouTube in about 5 minutes. Excuse me, about 1 minute.
Okay.
Okay. Jen, you got the email from Brian. He won't be here today.
I did not.
Yeah, he sent one this morning.
He has staffing issues.
Hello, Madam Chair. I was away from the computer when you said hello, so I came running in. Hello.
I just thought you weren't talking to me.
No.
Can y'all hear me better now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I went into the conference room, so.
Good move.
I believe Don Carter is with us now. Mr. Carter, can you let us know if you're in with us?
That
I can
particular
hear us.
block is outlined, but I don't see anything from him.
Yeah.
Need some more commissioners on board.
I know. Have not heard from Josh or Tim.
We've got 2 people in the waiting room. That might be Josh. Tim.
It's not. It's Oliver Bateman. I was waiting,
Okay.
waiting to let him know.
And Don says he's connecting to audio again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Randy, do you have Don Carter's telephone number or cell?
I do.
Okay. Can you text it to me, please?
I will.
Ian, I didn't get your text.
Well,
Was it a text or an email?
I think it's a text. Let me go back and see.
Mark, I just sent it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gone. Let me see if I can. Oh shoot, I thought I had mine changed for the, that is. Let's see if I can give you a.
These administrative meetings are kind of boring.
I wonder if the other commissioners forgot we're doing the pre-meeting, the administrative meeting.
I don't know. All right, I'm trying this again, Jim.
Nope.
Jim, are you trying to get a vaccine?
Well, yeah, I've had one. Today was the day to get my second, and I called to verify they had the vaccine, and they did not. They said call back tomorrow. So I'm just trying to run down other options.
I'm trying to get a note from my doctor so I can get it.
Yeah.
I'm younger than y'all, but I have diabetes, so
Yeah.
I'm trying to qualify there.
Yeah. Have you signed up for the new vaccine center at the farmers market?
Nope, they're still only doing I read the 65 plus.
Yeah, they still are applying those guidelines.
Is this for me?
What'd you say, Sheila?
This says a reboot or an update to my system requires a reboot.
Uh-oh.
No, not right now.
Yeah, not now.
Josh is running late. They had an administrative meeting at Newtown, and he'll
Okay.
be in about 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I just noticed that Win Calais' house has sold.
Really?
Yes.
Finally,
Finally, apparently, because I went looking because Cynthia Alexander has the old Murphy property listed now. And so when I went to try to look up that, and then I found the address for the Calais property, it said it recently sold, but the tax records aren't updated yet. So I don't know who's bought it. Like for $650, I think it sold for.
I'm just glad to get somebody in there.
Right. I'm glad that the other property's up because that, that
Now, which property are you
damaged
talking about,
garage.
Liz?
You remember the old Murphy house? Gosh, Ken Balchin bought it and then it burned. And then Wynn built a garage or something there. And then I think one of the hurricanes, big tree fell on it. It was
Is that
never
the one in the
repaired.
corner in the turn?
Yeah, it's right there at the juncture of Twin Pines and Boulevard and Twin Pines and Briarcliff and Hawthorne.
Yeah.
Right there. So, but I couldn't even find the listing for that.
Well,
I think it's been listed a number of times over the years.
if anybody knows someone looking for a house and they're willing to renovate, my daughter's house is for sale on Nottingham.
Which part of Nottingham?
Down past Waverland.
Okay. On the left or right, going
Right.
toward the. Okay.
Right, up on the hill. Or
Okay.
not really a hill, but it's up. It's between the corner property on the corner of Waverland and Nottingham. It's the second house on the right.
Where are they going?
They
Oh,
don't
they
know.
already. Okay.
No, they have not gone. They just want to be closer to Sam's school. And Kevin will just have to make the drive back in every day.
We know who won that battle.
Which Suzanne works at the hospital, so she's not any better off either.
Well, yeah.
And she has been working in the COVID unit
Good grief.
since surgery has been off for a while.
Yeah.
But she is going to work for one of the surgeons in Navicent come Wednesday, I think.
Oh, okay.
So she's excited about that.
She's an OR
She
nurse,
is.
or okay.
Mhm. She was an ER nurse for most of her career.
Okay.
But she changed to the OR here last year. And
Never
one
a
of the
dull
OR
moment in the
doctors.
OR. So
one of the OR doctors has asked her to come and manage his group. It's still part of Navicent.
sure.
Or Atrium.
Atrium, yeah.
Atrium.
Yeah, they
Okay,
haven't
who
started doing their
was- we're waiting
signage
on-
changes.
Do what?
I said they haven't started doing their signage changes yet.
No.
Tim, did you forget about the meeting, the pre-meeting?
Randy, they have on the Heart Center.
Well, we are waiting on you.
Some of their other buildings, they have not.
You're right.
Is Tim coming?
He is. I think he's about to sign on.
Okay. So that'll give us.
You know, it's an interesting thing with them. Some of their stuff, if it's actually hospital authority property, it's exempt, but technically the hospital's not. The individual owner's not. Hospital authority is, so.
Does the hospital authority still have a role in anything besides being a
Oh,
landlord?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
So some of the properties are like totally exempt from us on everything, and others are, if it's individual doctors or whatever, then they're not. It's kind of weird.
But they're exempt from property taxes.
Yeah.
That's a touchy subject.
Yep. We're in court with them about that.
Jim, did you get my text yet?
Negative.
All right, let me see where I'm sending it.
Gremlins are
it's the
after
other-
you.
It's the other Jim Thomas that's in your contact list. You can just email it to me. You got my email, of course.
Well, I'm just cutting and pasting here.
Oh, okay.
Do I have
Jim.
no one?
Jim, I get all her texts. So, I mean, I don't know what that.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Let's see.
So turn down your laptop speaker.
I do have two Jim Thomases in here.
Ah,
I don't know who the other one is. That one's you.
plot thickens.
Did you change cell phones, Jim?
Nope.
Not in the last 4 years, anyway.
Yeah.
Is this the 8456 number?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Mark, is that better?
it may be going to your office.
I think it is.
It'll get kicked back before
He sent me
long.
a text.
Let's see what number that is. 8456.
Hey, Sheila, would you test it now?
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Randy, will you also give me a test real quick, please?
Can you hear me?
Yes. All right, we're good. Thanks.
Okay. And I'm at a 6 on here, so if you want me to turn it down some more, I can.
No, you're in good shape. The
Okay.
headphones are taking the audio, so you're in good shape. For some reason, the audio was coming out of Sheila's speaker whenever she spoke.
Okay.
So, Has anyone reached out to Tim by any chance?
I just did, and he said he was getting ready to get on. He didn't know we were having a pre-meeting.
Okay.
All right, see if that comes through, Jim.
Got that one.
Okay.
Thank you.
I don't know where I've been sending those, but okay, let's see.
Okay, I got Tim calling me. Hello?
Tim is coming in.
Sorry, I'm late.
All right.
Send you to detention.
I didn't know we were having a pre-meeting. I was hanging around for 1:30.
Do we know what time Josh will be in?
He said about 5-10 minutes, so.
I got 12:51.
That's what I've got. I actually have 11:51. My computer thinks it's Central Time.
Oh.
Gene, Josh, it's going to be about 10 minutes. You want to go ahead and get started?
Yeah, let's go ahead. All right, this will open the pre-meeting for the February 22nd Planning and Zoning Commission hearing. We have one item in particular today that needs some discussion. Jim, do you want to go over all of it or just that one item?
I'd like to just kind of brief you on all of them, just
Okay.
and to update the agenda. We've moved a number of items for ratification that you'll vote on at the end of the regular hearing. Number 2 on Allied Industrial
Can you
Boulevard.
turn your volume up just a hair?
Oh, sure. How's that?
I didn't notice any difference.
Uh-oh.
Let me see. Is there somewhere on there I can turn mine up?
Yeah, I think it's your volume that you need.
Okay. Somebody want to tell me how to do that? I
Well-
don't see anything that says volume.
Well, you can also, you may have volume keys at the top of your keyboard, possibly.
Not down in the bottom bar on the right-hand side, there should be like a little speaker. If you click it, then you should be able to adjust left or right for up and for
I see
increase or
F3
decrease.
has a volume button, has a megaphone, but when I touch it, it doesn't do anything.
You got to shift F3, I think.
All right, somebody say something.
Is that better?
Nope.
Is it the one with the little things out beside it?
Mm-hmm.
Do it several times and see.
Okay. I may be
Here's
just
now.
changing my own volume. Okay, we'll go ahead anyway.
Okay, well, can everybody else hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I hear you
Yes.
fine.
Okay. Yeah, Jen, I think it's your computer that it's your volume that you got to adjust somehow.
Okay, I don't know how to switch this down so I can turn the volume up. Okay, I'll make do.
Okay. So number 2 at 540 Allied Industrial Boulevard, we've moved to ratification. That's in the industrial park. Item 4, this is we moved this to ratification. This is a tax prep office in an existing building. There were no issues with that, so that's been moved to ratification. Item number 7 on Interstate Drive, 4295 Interstate. This is for a medical office, and we moved that to ratification. And then let's see, item number 10 on McCarroll Drive for a second dwelling, that's been moved to ratification. And then we have deferred at the applicant's request items 11 and 12, and that's the project on Hydrolia Street, the C of A and the conditional use. So those will be heard on March the 8th. It's my understanding that the applicant is working with some folks to try to deal with the houses that they want to move or demolish. And they hope they can move those structures. So
That has changed. One of the structures burned last week.
yeah, I know there was some vagrants that had started a fire in the building, so I don't know what that does, but we'll find out. So the first item we'll hear today is 2040 Mercer Junction. This is for a foundation repair business. No real issues with that one. Randy, can you call up that?
Allow me to screen share.
Yeah.
You've got to grant me permission. There we go.
Go ahead, Randy, you should have it.
Okay, give me just a sec. And I've got it up here. Give me just a second. Got to move my little bar down. 240 Mercer. Here we go. And
Yeah.
okay.
Well, I'm sorry they didn't have, the only problem I had with this was that I wish that there had been another building out there or they would have built a building because they need some more tenants out there, more occupancy out there.
Yeah, and the only issue, and only concern, not really issue, but concern was that they are requesting some outside storage of materials and equipment. And it's not a huge deal, but we suggest that they provide some kind of screening or enclosement for anything that they store on the outside. So I'm not sure exactly what they're going to store, and you might want to ask that question, but I know they'll have equipment like some, heavier equipment, but they also want to store some building materials. So you may have, gravel piles or, I don't know. So we just want to get that squared away. we don't see a problem with this kind of use in that location. Just some details on their site. Yeah.
Okay. Anybody got any questions?
Okay, the next one is 695 Riverside Drive. This is the dog park in Bar. They've been to the design review board, and and they're okay with what's being proposed. So we didn't see any real issues with this. So they're going to basically they're going to set up a Airstream trailer and utilize it as a concession for beer, wine, and other soft drinks and snacks and stuff.
It would be here.
Yeah. And then they'll
Restrooms.
yeah. And they'll use the site, including the park itself. So it's going to be a dog park, basically. And they're going to add some parking. There'll be some improved, gravel parking. And they've been through the pre-development review with us and worked out some details with traffic.
And GDOT.
And GDOT.
Are they fencing the whole area,
They are.
Yes.
including the?
Line? Or the green line?
That's
The green line is the fence.
Yeah.
Yes.
The green line is the fence, okay.
Right. So, and Randy can scroll down, but the fence along the front will be a more decorative. I think it's going to be aluminum. It's going to be like wrought iron style. Yeah, there you go.
It'll
like
look
that.
a lot like the other fences you see downtown.
Yeah, and then the fence on the rear of the property will be black chain link, and that's the little bathroom.
That's the little,
So,
that's the little bar itself, the beverage center, and then the little restroom building.
So they're going to have complete control of Rotary Park.
well, as a tenant, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It at this point it has multiple uses.
Yeah.
Now, what are they going to do on cleanup in terms of animal waste and things like that? Is that going to be left to those who bring their pets there and everything?
That's a good question that needs to be posed to the applicant, but I assume that they're going to have rules that they're going to try to enforce.
Well, she has said in the pre-development and others things that there's going to be stations, cleanup stations around.
Okay.
So I'm guessing that requires you, use your pooper scooper or your other things and then deposit them into the.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that worked real good for a short period of time down at the city park. Oak Mulgee
You're
Park,
saying-
whatever. But it doesn't work anymore. So I'm hoping that if these people are leasing this property, then maybe that will be
It'll be an incentive for them to
an
enforce
incentive
it.
for them to keep it cleaned up.
Randy, the Urban Development Authority owns the property, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And they're leasing it from the Urban Development Authority?
Yes.
They are. Yeah.
Are they paying anything for it?
That I don't know.
Yes. They are.
Okay. Okay. And does the Development Authority have any rules and regulations about their upkeep?
Not,
That I'm
don't
not
know.
aware of.
Okay.
I would think though that just from a business perspective, that if it's nasty and smells and you're stepping and stuff, you're not gonna have a lot of business for your events or your beverage center. So it's in their best interest to make sure that they enforce it and keep it clean.
Okay.
And there will be a lot of patrons that, won't have a dog either. So, I mean, it's somewhat self-policing, but that's That's a good question for the applicant. Okay. We've got 2 items on Houston Avenue, 2312 Houston. One is a rezoning and one is a conditional use. It's item 5 and 6. One's a rezoning from R3 to C2, and the other is a conditional use. And this is for a funeral home.
It's actually these L Street properties too. The map
Yes,
is not correct. It includes the L Street properties as well.
So they want to convert this property into a funeral home. And this was the Salvation Army chapel, right, Randy? Wasn't it
I believe so.
yeah. Now, one thing that we're not totally clear on is whether or not they're going to do mortuary services and embalming. They're asking for C2, and that would allow the full spectrum of services for a funeral home. They could do a funeral home in a C1, but it wouldn't include the embalming portion. And so we need to get some clarification on that. But it's an existing structure. There's no new construction other than, the parking area. We have some opposition that I have heard, but I don't see anybody that signed up to speak on it. Maybe they have since I've got mine.
No one had signed up when I looked the last bit. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see.
Yeah.
HR2. Okay. The gentleman for, I've sent this link 4 times. I'm not sure why he doesn't have it. The gentleman for 240 says he does not have the link.
I've got it. We've got it cleared up.
Okay.
Okay, so there's somebody who's going to speak against this proposal?
No. It was just, I happened to see, I was looking to see, I have not received any emails in opposition to it. The first I'd heard was Tanya received a call this morning that there was some opposition. That
I got a call.
No one has emailed us or anything.
Yeah, I got a call from Channel 41 and they were getting calls in opposition to it. So, but no one signed up.
The funeral home?
Yeah.
No one has contacted us via email or through the sign-in process. I'll look at our Facebook page real quick in a second. Jessica Malone says she hasn't received her invitation. I've sent it to her 3 times.
Okay.
Were there any questions on the Houston Avenue project from the commissioners?
I don't have anything.
Okay. Item 8 at 4617 Hartley Bridge Road. This is a mixed-use retail development on one of the out parcels. We didn't see a problem with this. We've received no opposition.
From looking at the drawings, do I understand that all the mechanical will be on the roof?
Good question.
Because this does have, streets on 3 sides.
That's a safe assumption. Can you call up the building elevation, Randy?
Yes.
I didn't see anything there, but maybe they just didn't put anything on there. So I just wanted to find out.
Commissioner,
That looks
this is
pretty
Russell
clean to
Wheeler.
me. Then I don't see anything on the roof either. So.
Okay.
Russell Wheeler with Triple Point will be representing that.
Okay.
Okay, well, then,
Today.
yeah, he can address that during the hearing.
What time is the hearing?
At 1:30.
1:30.
Oh, 1:30. Okay. I'm in early. I'm sorry. I'll remute myself.
That's fine. Yeah, so they're showing access from the internal drive, so there's no direct access to Hartley Bridge. Okay, any questions on that one? Okay, number 9, we've had a lot of interest on this, and we're going to have, I think we've got 5 or 6 folks that have signed up to speak in opposition, including Commissioner Howell from District 7. He signed up to address the commission. This is a rezoning from agricultural to M1 light industrial. This is for a truck stop on Sardis Church. This is at the Sardis Church I-75 interchange. It's going to be a full service with, fuel stations, a convenience store, the repair shop, and a couple of out parcels for other commercial development. And then, of course, large parking area for trucks. This is right across Sardis Church from the
Loves is
Love's.
here.
Actually, it's on
Yeah.
the other side, I think.
Do I understand that they are buying this larger tract?
No, it's on this side right here.
Okay.
Right up here.
Just this
and then
side
it's
over here?
Yes.
Just this side?
Yeah.
All right,
Now
and then who's gonna own this over here?
They'll own this, but this is to my knowledge, based on what I've seen and what I heard, is they own this, but this is kind of buffered because of the cell tower and because of wetlands.
Wetland.
Yeah. Well, they got a sewer easement running through there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brandon, do we have any indication what the opposition is? Is it about environment, traffic, or what?
Some of all of it, I think.
Yeah, I think,
All of it.
and I don't want to forecast, but I think a lot of it's got to do with traffic
I
and the
think
amount
that's the
of.
majority of it.
Of course, I mean, a truck stop like this is a 24-hour operation, and so it's going to be lit up all the time, and trucks will be coming and going, so to speak. You've got to the west of this, you've got an older R1 AAA neighborhood on the other side of that wetland area. Yeah, you can see there on. Yeah.
This is that
Yeah.
wetlands that you can see on the.
Yeah. Now, this was a development of regional impacts. Went through that extra review by the regional commission, and there were a couple of comments received from adjoining counties. One was Housing County, and
The majority had to do with the DOT.
yeah,
and
DOT
Macon
had the
Water.
most comments. Yeah, the site's not served by public water, so they're going to have to bring that to the site. And this will be the third truck stop on that interchange. We've
The
got
second true truck
The
stop.
second true
but-
truck stop.
But
and you got a
QT
quick trip on
is
the other
considered a
side.
truck stop by regional impact
Yeah,
definition. And then also up at Hartley Bridge where they expanded the Circle K, that was also a development of regional impact because of the addition of the dedicated diesel pumps.
so the future land use plan recognizes this site as community commercial, which is commercial serving a much larger public than the local public. So obviously it's on a major interchange. So all of that area is either is planned to be industrial or commercial right at the interchange. We obviously, that whole area has become kind of a logistical hub, as you know, and the past administration was really promoting that idea. And then with Amazon fulfillment center going out there and other industries that were, you know, heavy trucking, that's what the area has basically become. But Madam Chair, we've got 7 people sign up to speak, so you'll have to deal with some timing, you know, and they may need more time than 10 minutes.
Okay.
Now, as you can see from the Google Earth, this is the Love's truck stop. This is the site in question. This is the cell tower that you see on some of the documents for their stuff. And then this is where the QT is now. It's just not visible on the aerial. And then
Randy, how many acres is the Loves?
give me just a second, I'll tell you. Give me just a second.
Whoops. Mark, you just hit the wrong thing.
What do you have, Gene?
Okay, I got it back now.
Okay.
Love's is 16.72 acres, Gary.
And they have estimated on this development that it would be roughly 17 on the original development with the 2 out parcels on the remaining 14 acres. And it's going to run north to south more so than east to west with Loves. Is that?
Yeah.
I got that right.
Correct.
Yeah, it's a deeper parcel.
Yeah.
Now, GDOT's concerns were mainly obviously about impact to the interchange, and they they have their requirements that they're going to have to comply with. But Sardis Church is not a state route, so access and the traffic signals and the timing of the traffic signals will all be done locally. And so GDOT has some concerns about the timing, and they just want to make sure that it's done correctly. So if this is approved, they're going to have to work closely with our traffic engineering operation in Bibb County.
But would that not have applied to the Loves?
Oh, sure.
As well?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think the light there came after Loves. Did it not?
It was
Their
after.
light.
You're correct. It came out.
Yeah, I think you're right, Gary.
Again, Jim, what proximity would it be to that neighborhood again? Can we bring that up?
Yeah, Randy, could you go to the aerial view and
This is the site. This is the neighborhood. Give me just a second. I'll flip over to the tax
there you
stuff, so
go.
maybe
Yeah,
you'll
right
see it
there.
a
You
little
see.
better.
Yeah. So there's a creek that runs through there. There's some wetlands between the proposed site. And then you've got this undeveloped area that's part of that older neighborhood, but that is, I think, zoned R1 AAA.
Let's see.
But it's all separated by that wetlands area and then that
Yeah.
cell tower
Yeah.
property.
That is zoned R1 AAA right there.
Yeah.
So, and that was still owned by the Gibsons.
Yeah.
Yeah, the same family that owns this corner.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's near, it's not, I mean, it's adjacent to property that's zoned R1 AAA, but not developed. It's directly adjacent. But of course, you've got, between the 2 properties, again, you've got that creek, wetlands, wooded area, cell tower.
This is the
sewer
developed
easements.
area here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would that be in a light pollution or noise pollution spilling over into the neighborhood from?
Well, I wouldn't say directly. I mean, you know, they'll see a glow at night that's not there now. But I mean, it's there now with Love's. This will just add to it. But I think there's enough separation between the proposed project and this neighborhood that it won't be a direct impact. And now traffic will certainly, they'll have to deal with some additional traffic. Now, regarding the traffic, we estimated somewhere between 4,000 and 5,000 additional trips per day from this site. And that does not include the trip generation that would be from the repair operation. We didn't have our software didn't include that type of land use, and there's some assumption there that it'd be, you know, they're going to be stopping there anyway. The repair, I'm not sure is going to draw anything more than somebody already going there, but the impact is it's going to be a lot of trips. I think the peak hour trips were, let's see, Randy, if you could scroll down a little bit. Right there, let's see. Yeah. Yeah, 542 trips in the AM peak. And then, you know, 471 in the evening. But the site is, it's signalized. The access to the site will be a controlled access. But the folks that live out there, work out there, you know, can expect some additional delays in moving through that intersection.
Well, with an interstate interchange, if it's not this use, it's going to be something else.
Well, that's right. I mean, I don't ever see that piece of property developing into residential. I mean, it's clearly right on the interchange, so it's going to be some kind of commercial or industrial use, and that's what's planned to be. And I mean, what's happened out there is exactly what Bibb County had planned on.
Yeah.
So it's just one of the support services that they need for those logistical industries that, you know, move a lot of freight.
Yep. Okay. Anybody got anything else?
I understand that, Jim, too, but those folks that live out there, they deserve some protection also. You know, they've been there for the beginning of time. You know, I think in doing this, we still gotta make sure we protect the folks who already been there, and also taxpayers. You know, I know it developed, and I know the trucking industry is a very important part of our supply chain, and we have to make accommodation, but at the same time, those people deserve some peace and quiet too also.
Absolutely. So, I mean, that's the balancing act we've got to deal with. So yeah, I mean, there may be things that we could do to limit the impact. Of course, a lot of it's going to be how Bibb County handles the traffic control, but also you know, we can probably give some relief as far as lighting, things like that can help minimize the impact to those nearby folks. And I don't really know what the laws are as far as trucking. And I don't know if trucks will be coming and going at all hours of the night, or, you know, do they pretty much, you know, sleep at night, drive early in the morning? You know, I don't know how that works. So
it depends on each person's log. So some may be they may be driving all night long and for 10 hours and then taking their sleep that's mandated, or they may be driving early in the morning and then sleeping at night. Mm-hmm. They have, most of the newer trucks have electronic logs that they have to keep, and they have a warning, and then the trucks they turn off. They have to.
Hello?
Trucks have to do hand logs. They're not required to have the others. My husband used to do trucking. He was a dispatcher,
Yeah.
broker. And that's why you see a lot of them actually stopped alongside the interstate now, or
Yeah.
pulling
Yeah.
off is because they only have so long after they reach their hours that they have to pull over or they get fined. I mean,
Right.
and some of them actually have governors that the trucks will actually cut off after a certain amount of time, so.
Yeah. So, any questions on that? That's our last item to talk about. So,
Well, we are getting close to
Hearing time.
yeah,
time to
One-
start here.
yeah, 124.
I don't know.
Madam Chair, that's all I've got.
Okay, well, meeting adjourned.
All right. So just, yeah, stay online
Well,
and
I'm on
we'll,
P&Z meetings fixing to start.
I'm gonna step
Yeah,
away
we did.
and come back.
Mark still there?
I'm still here. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I don't find anything to help me with the volume.
And you looked at the lower, let's see. Hang on a second. Right now, is your screen, are you looking at Randy's shared screen right now? It may be covering up your,
I think, yes.
okay. Yeah, let's go off of that for a moment.
How do I do that?
I'll do it on this end.
All right, you do it.
That's, I'm gonna quit sharing.
Okay. And I'm gonna share my screen for a moment. Are you seeing my screen?
What does your screen look like?
Got the globe underneath it.
What I see is it's black
Okay.
and it looks like little pyramids.
Okay. That would be Randy's. So I'm gonna,
Okay.
all right. Now you should see the,
I see everybody's screen.
okay, good. Now in your lower right hand part of your monitor,
Yes.
see those little icons that I sent you? There should be a speaker icon in the very lower right end of your monitor.
Lower right hand of my monitor says leave.
Okay. At the very top of your
At the
monitor.
very top, it says
There's a-
view.
All right. There's also an X. Don't hit the X. And then there's a
I
minus
don't
sign.
see an X.
Oh. Well, gee. Do you have the option to share your monitor?
If I do, I don't know where I find it.
Okay.
I don't see anything that says share. I got stop video on the left and I've
Don't
got
wanna do
mute
that.
over on the right.
Okay, we want to minimize the Zoom window so you're at your desktop. So you can see like your desktop.
All right, let's see. View. Exit full screen.
Exit full screen. Correct.
All right. All right, let me go right here. All right, now somebody say something. Whoops,
Something. We're still.
that's better.
Yeah. You get it?
I did. All right, let's see. There we go. Thank you.
You're welcome. Glad to help. I'm here if you need anything.
Okay, thank you, Mark.
Hi, this is Samantha Hutchinson. I don't know if anybody can tell I'm here. I just want to let you know I'm here, mobile.
Yes, ma'am. We've got you here.
Okay.
The commission will call you when your item comes up, And at that point, just simply unmute and you should be good to go.
Video.
Okay. I'm having to be on my phone. I'm sorry. I'm not able to Zoom on my computer, my work computer.
That's not a problem at all. We have actually we have several people now on their phone.
We may have
Okay.
gotten funds to do it.
Stephen, get,
Yes, sir. We're here. We're in between meetings. The zoning hearing begins at 1:30.
okay, Jim, I got 1:30. Jim's not there.
Gene, he stepped away for a moment and I accidentally muted you. You'll need to unmute.
Unmute. How's that?
That's perfect.
All right, good. All right, well, Randy's gone. Josh is not there. Tim, everybody's gone. Is that me? There you are, Josh.
I'm here.
Okay. Okay.
Mark, can you send Tony Widener login credentials? He's still saying he hasn't received them. I've sent them 3 times.
It was
I've
a
got
little
them.
bit ago. He was just on. Yeah, I'll send it to him.
Okay. I
I've
just
got
happened to
them.
look down at my emails.
Who's on this screen that just says P and Z?
That's
That
Mark.
would be me, Gene.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Just, okay.
Would you like me to go through to tell you?
No, you're
his-
fine. You're
Okay.
fine. I just wanted to know who that was.
We
All
currently
right,
have,
so-
including the commission, we have 27 participants. The ones who are joining us by phone and not on video or not showing video are not showing on your screen. So we
Okay.
have several people with us.
Okay. All right. So Gary is.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, you're here? Okay. I just
Yeah.
can't see you anymore. Okay. Are we ready, Jim?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The February 22nd, 2021 meeting of the Macon-Bibb County Planning and Zoning Commission is hereby open. We are having this meeting via Zoom or YouTube. And we do have those who are wishing to speak online in some form or another. Jim, let's go ahead and review the agenda items for today.
Okay. We've got several changes in today's agenda, and I'll go through these quickly. Item Item number 2 at 540 Allied Industrial Boulevard is a conditional use for wholesale distribution. We have moved that to ratification. Item 4 at 2209 Vineville Avenue, also a conditional use for a tax preparation office. That's been moved to ratification. Item 7 at 4295 Interstate Drive. This is for a medical office, conditional use. That's been moved to ratification. And item 10 at 9292 McCarroll Drive. This is a conditional use for a second dwelling. That's been moved to ratification. And item 11 and item 12 at 342 Hydrolia Street, a certificate of appropriateness and a conditional use. Those two items have been deferred to the March 8th hearing at the request of the applicant.
Okay. All right. We have 4 out of 5 commissioners here today. So we're able to proceed. Do I have a motion on minutes from last meeting?
Madam Chair, I move to approve the minute from our previous meeting.
Second.
All right, we have a motion from Tim Jones to approve the minutes, and we have a second from Gary Bechtel to approve the minutes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, so carried. All right, Jim, can you start with item number 1, please?
Sure. First item is 240 Mercer Junction. This is a conditional use to allow a foundation repair business in a PDE district. Nancy Vidian with Vidian Properties, Clean USA Inc., doing business as Low Country Foundation Repairs is the applicant.
Okay. Nancy, you're on by phone, is that correct? Or are you video?
Gene,
That's Robert.
Nancy and Robert will be joining us, I'm assuming by phone. Robert, Nancy?
I'm here, Nancy Vidian. Can you hear me?
Yes. And is Robert with you? Is he on also?
He's on a separate call.
Let's see. Can he?
You might need to give him instruction on how to unmute.
Mark will have to tell him how to do that.
He's trying to connect right now.
Yeah, I see that now. All right. Robert and Nancy, I trust that you have reviewed the procedural guidelines for the hearing. I will remind you that you have 15 minutes to make your presentation. First of all, is Robert here yet? Where'd Nancy go?
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm able to proceed.
Okay, we'll need you to be sworn in. And if he comes in and wants to speak also, he'll need to be sworn in also. Sheila?
Ms. Vivian,
Yes,
do you solemnly swear that the evidence that you shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, did we ever get Robert? All right, we're going to go ahead. Nancy, would you tell us about your application?
Yes, ma'am. Well, I'm the owner of Low Country Foundation Repair along with my husband, Robert Vidian. And we have been in business for over 20 years. Our main office is located in Rincon, Georgia. And we are looking to purchase a building here, the 240 Mercer Junction, and use that for our business to do crawl space, basement, and foundation repair services for our customers in the Macon area. We would like to use the 11,000 square foot warehouse, which is 8,000 square foot of warehouse area for our material storage, and the 3,000 square foot of office for our internal staff. That would, we'd basically be storing all our materials there, our crews, which would involve 3 or more crews operating out of box trucks. They would come in each morning, load the materials, and go out and install the jobs in return. We would have some support staff there on location to assist. We would also need to do some minor modifications to the building to allow access to the warehouse, which would be installing 4 bay doors on the side where that red line is there. That would allow us drive-in access of the forklift and all of the materials to get in the side. We would also need to install a pad for a 30-yard dumpster, which is that box, yes, on the left there. And also a storage area for our drainage rock, which we use for our crawl-space installations.
Where would they be stored?
We would build a pad and walls to basically make a barrier for the drainage rock, a truckload of drainage rock in that same area where that square pad is. They should both be able to fit side by side, yes. Now, the equipment that we have, basically outside we'll have trucks. We have a mini excavator, which will be on a trailer, the dumpster, like I just mentioned. But all of our other materials should be able to be housed inside, except for our large vehicles and equipment.
And where would they be housed? Would they be in the back or would they be in the parking spaces here?
They'll be in the parking lot area in the back there, yes.
Here?
We don't normally have a whole lot of customers that come to our location, so it's mainly just crews and support staff that would need to park there.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else you need to add?
Along with adding the bay doors, we do have to relocate the accessible parking. As you can see, it's located where the bay doors are going to go. So we're going to have to move those up to the front of the building, on the front corner.
All right. And so the
Yes.
gravel storage and the dumpster are going to be where that square is?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And there will be no other miscellaneous or peripheral equipment that's going to be maybe back there in the back?
We could possibly store some items behind the building, but at this time we don't have any large equipment that would necessitate being outside.
Okay. All right, gentlemen, do you have any questions for the applicant? All right, if I have no questions, any other discussion? Then I will entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve a conditional use at 240 Mercer Junction to allow a foundation repair business in a PDE district.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Josh to approve a conditional use to allow a foundation repair business in a PDE district at 240 Mercer Junction, and that was seconded by Tim. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? So carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next item is item 3, 635 and 695 Riverside Drive. This was a conditional use to allow a dog park with a bar in a CBD1 district. Kate Lambert's the applicant.
Kate, are you there?
I am here. Hey, everyone.
Hey.
All right. Kate, I presume that you have read the procedural guidelines for the meeting. And if so, then we will have Sheila Burns swear you in. Sheila?
Yes.
Do you solemnly swear that the evidence that you shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You may proceed.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Kay, tell us about your application.
Okay, so this concept is an off-leash dog park and bar here. And on this site plan, you'll see the property. It's 635, 695 Riverside Drive. The business is called Barks and Brews. So my intention is to fence in this area here that is outlined, this lime green that you'll see here, aluminum fencing down Riverside, and then black vinyl chain link fencing on the other sides of the property. The area will be turf, and the bar, as of now, there's really nothing on that property aside from the fountain and an existing pergola that you can see is outlined over there. And so the actual bar will be an Airstream trailer that's been being renovated to serve beer and wine. And customers would not actually come into the Airstream. It would have a big service window where people would walk up to it. And you can also see that there are two covered structures, pergolas, that would match, very similar to the black aluminum, one off the fence on Riverside and one on the opposite side. So people would enter the park right there at First Street and come in through a double gated leashing area, essentially, like you would see at any other dog park. And as far as lighting goes, white string lights would light up the area. There are already some existing lamp posts over here around the fountain. Yes. Okay. So there's already some existing lights there. Aside from that, some white string lights strung downhill closer towards First Street. The pergola, that's a very similar look to what I would like to do. As far as seating goes, would have benches and tables with chairs and umbrellas in and around the pergolas and the covered structures. Up in one of those previous slides that you were just on is a drawing or a plan right there for the bathrooms.
Here.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. The bathrooms would be situated near the Airstream as well, and that was like a visual, I think, right above that of what I meant when I said a serving window for the room trailer. So the idea is, to provide a safe, a well-kept, clean environment, a place for people to take their dogs and for their dogs to be off leash and have the ability to roam around and get the exercise that our pets need. So that is the general. I'm sure I didn't cover everything, but that's the general idea.
Catherine, how does it cost to get in here, or is the only income going to be from the beverage sales?
Yeah, so it does cost per dog, but so if you come just as a person without a dog, that does not cost, but there is a membership which can be paid with the day pass if you're just coming through town, or annually or monthly. And all people will have to bring dogs vaccination papers so that they have their current up-to-date vaccinations to be able to enter the park. To make sure all dogs will also have to be spayed and neutered before they can come in if they're over the age of 1. So,
okay.
Gravel parking right here, I didn't explain that either. That is the parking is pull in here and park in this gravel space that's outlined on the site plan.
So you've got two different site plans. Okay, question, there's a pergola shown here on the lighting and landscape plan, and there's one here, but on the one above, they were a little different.
I'm sorry, I missed the question.
So this site plan that shows the lighting shows different placement for the restroom and airstream as well as for your pergolas. The one above shows, hold on, I apologize. Let me get back up here. So it shows the restrooms here.
This is the
airstream
updated
here.
one.
So
Yeah.
this is the updated, okay.
Yes, I'm sorry about that. And I didn't even notice that there were two on there. I think when my civil engineer, did this, we worked together on this. And I think the original one I sent in, we needed more specific to scale drawings of, the restrooms as far as ADA requirements and things like that. So this is the correct site plan.
Okay.
All right, commissioners, questions?
Kate, this is Gary Bechtel. As it relates to animal waste and cleanup and everything else, what are going to be responsibilities, and will your staff educate them or do what is not done? Because with them being off the leash, you might have more refuse than an owner is willing to pick up or find or whatever. You follow what I'm saying?
I do. So people will be asked, and there'll be signage to show, please clean up after your pets, as you would see pretty much anywhere. But I also have employees, park rangers, at all times when the park is open, that will be there with a specific job of, if, dogs will be also, friendly dogs only. And these park rangers will be there to kind of help if there becomes a situation where two dogs are not getting along and that kind of thing, but also to clean up after pets if there's a situation where their owner misses it or isn't or does not do that. So I'll have the doggy waste stations like you see out at Amerson that have the waste bags and the baskets as well.
All right.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else with questions? Do we know what your hours of operation, what days and what hours are you going to be open?
So off the bat, I would like to be open Wednesday to Sunday, and the dog park bar services from during the week, Wednesday and Thursday from 4 to 9, and on the weekends until 11. I could see that changing to be a more maybe a 7-day-a-week thing, but I think off the bat to ease into things, that those are the hours that I would like to hold.
Okay.
Will you have any live entertainment?
I'm glad you asked that because I definitely meant to mention that. Yes, I would like to have live music. And if you'll scroll a little bit, I'm sorry, so I can see the structures. This covered structure here is where I would anticipate live music being set up here. The one that's
this one, or
I'm sorry,
the existing one?
Not the no,
Okay.
I'm sorry. This one down here, right here. Yep. Thank you. Because I feel like with live music being set up there, not necessarily facing Riverside Drive, but projecting out towards the other way. So it would be set up similar to like a stage that could be converted to a stage when I did have live music on Fridays and Saturdays.
All right. Any other questions, commissioners?
No, one comment, I think it's a unique proposal, and thank you for, putting in the time, effort, energy, and investment to do this. I think it's a unique opportunity for those who live downtown and who have pets.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, I'll entertain a motion and a second, please.
Madam Chairman, I'll make a motion that on 635, 695 Riverside Drive, we approve a conditional use to allow a dog park and a bar and a CBD 1 district. Barks and Brews is the applicant with Kate Lambert.
Second.
All right, are we gonna approve the live music? Is that permissible in this zoning? Randy?
Yeah, it's up to you guys.
Okay. Are we approving live music?
I will add that as part of my motion.
All right. You second that too, Josh?
Yes.
Okay. All right, we have a motion and a second. The motion was made by Gary Bechtel and the second was made by Josh Rogers to approve conditional use for a dog park and a bar and live music in a CBD 1 district at 695 Riverside Drive. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So carried. Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you.
Okay,
Jim?
we've got 2 items associated with the next address. It's 2312 Houston Avenue and 445 and 487 L Street. We've got a rezoning from R3 to C2 to allow a funeral home with a chapel. And then we've got, at the same address, we've got a conditional use request for that funeral home and chapel in the C2 proposed classification. Tony Widener is the applicant.
Okay. All right, Tony, you're familiar with our procedural rules and regulations.
Yes.
What else am I supposed to ask? And tell us about your application.
I need to swear him in.
Oh, thank you. I knew there was something else. All right, go ahead, Sheila.
Tony, do you solemnly swear that the evidence that you shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, you may
All right,
proceed.
now, Tony, tell us about your application.
Well, we respectfully request that this property be rezoned and allow a conditional use to be allowed to for the operation of E.L. George Funeral Home in the existing chapel that was the former Salvation Army Chapel. And we'll, all the conditions they recommended with the staff report, didn't have any problems with that, get all the local approvals and final site plans submitted for approvals. I think it's a good use for this area.
All right, Tony, are they gonna have is this gonna be a full service with embalming and all on site?
Yes.
Are we okay, Randy, Jim, with that for this location in this zoning?
Yeah, if that's
we
what they
rezone-
want, then they have to go to a C2.
Well, this says C2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did Tony, will they do a crematory?
I don't think so. We've not talked about that. So this time I don't think so.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions, commissioners?
Tony, is this a new funeral business coming to Bibb County?
Yes.
Okay, and so they have all their state licenses and everything for
yes,
these type services.
Yes. They won't be able to open up without it. So
I didn't think so, but I just needed to ask.
All right. Any other questions, commissioners? All right, I'm looking for a motion then for the rezoning.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the rezoning at 2312 Houston Avenue, 445 and 487 L Street from R3 to C2.
Second.
Who
All
seconded?
right,
Was that
I
Gary that
did.
seconded?
Okay,
That was,
all right.
yes,
I'll
that was
call
me.
it out to you. Josh Rogers has made a motion to approve the rezoning from R3 to C2 at 2312 Houston Avenue and 445 and 487 L Street. Gary Bechtel has second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So carried. All right, on the conditional use.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve a conditional use at 2312 Houston Avenue and 445 and 487 L Street to allow a funeral home with a chapel in a C2 district.
Second.
Josh Rogers has made a motion and Gary Bechtel has seconded that motion to approve a conditional use to allow a funeral home with the chapel in a C2 district at 2312 Houston Avenue and 445, 487 L Street. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? So carried.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next item is number 8, 4617 Hartley Bridge Road. This is a conditional use to allow a mixed use retail development in a PDE district. Russell Wheeler with Triple Point Engineering representing Miles Wilkinson, Corporate Property Group, Inc. is the applicant.
Okay, Russell, you've reviewed the procedural guidelines for the commission meeting.
Yes, ma'am, I have.
Okay, Sheila then will swear you in.
Do we need to go ahead and swear in all of the other person that was Miles Wilkinson?
Miles Wilkinson. He is
Okay.
also here.
All right, let's get them both at the same time.
Are they ready?
Where's Miles?
I'm here.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, they're both there.
All right. Do you solemnly swear that the evidence that you shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Okay, you may proceed.
All right, would you both please state your name and address for the record, please?
This is Russell Wheeler with Triple Point Engineering, 5223 Riverside Drive, Suite 101, Macon, Georgia, 31210.
Miles?
Yes, Miles Wilkinson, 2227 South Babcock Street, Melbourne, Florida, 32901.
All right. Okay, would one of you begin telling us about your project here?
Sure. Of course, the project is located at 4617 Hartley Bridge Road at the intersection of Hartley Bridge Road and Station Parkway in the Old Moon Family Properties, Zone PDE. This project is a multi-tenant commercial building with associated parking. They're forecasting or looking at 3 tenants for the property. And the parking is broken down for those 3 uses, 45 seats for one use, 90 seats for the other use, 51 seats within development for the remainder. We've provided 72 parking spots and a landscaping plan that meets the requirements.
Okay, do you have any tenants for these buildings yet, did you say?
Mr. Wilkinson, would you like to field that?
Yes, so we have 2 tenants who are identified, but we have not publicly announced yet. So 2.
Okay. All right, and I questioned where you've got public rights of way on 3 sides of this where you hiding your utility, your mechanical and electrical and all?
Yeah, so the rooftop, the units will be split system or rooftop package mechanical units, and they'll be fully screened by a parapet on the building from most angles.
Okay. All right, gentlemen, you got any questions?
I have a question. Is the development entirely speculative in nature, or are any of these spaces already leased?
We have identified and reached terms with 2 of the 3 occupants and expect to have executed leases from both of those prior to breaking ground.
Okay. Any other questions, gentlemen? All right, if there are no questions or discussion, then I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chairman, I'll make a motion on 4617 Hartley Bridge Road that we approve a conditional use to allow mixed-use retail development in a PDE district.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Gary Bechtel, and we have a second by Tim Jones to approve a conditional use to allow a mixed-use retail development in a PDE district at 4617 Hartley Bridge Road. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, so carried. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see.
That's it, I think.
We've got number 9.
Oh.
Yeah, that one.
Darn.
Yeah, so number 9 is 5250 Sardis Church Road. This is a rezoning from agricultural to M1 wholesale and light industrial to allow a truck stop with a fuel station, a convenience store, a repair shop, and out parcels for future development. Stephen Galbraith with DG Development Partners, LLC, Carl Fisher, Foresight Group are the applicants.
All right, anybody else wanting to speak?
We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 7 folks that want to speak in opposition.
Okay, do we have anyone else in favor? I saw Oliver Bateman on there.
This Carter, I'd like to speak, please.
Okay, hey, Don. All right.
I'd like to
Okay,
speak
all
also.
those wishing to speak, I hope you've read the procedural guidelines. One of the guidelines is that you have 15 minutes per side, not per person. So if we see that we need some additional time, I think we'll be more than willing to give that up to a certain point. So long as we're hearing new information and not the same information over and over again. All right, all of those who are wishing to speak, I'd like to get them on the screen or online so we can get them to be sworn in.
Hey, this is Oliver Bateman. I can speak if needed.
All right, well then take the swearing in along with Don and who else? Carl Fisher, is he there?
David Stanecki will represent
Okay.
Foresight Group. Thank you.
Okay. All right, we're going to ask you all to be sworn in. Let's do the applicant side first. And
Yeah, this is.
we've got so many on the other side.
Galbraith with
Stephen Galbraith, you want to be sworn in also?
Yeah, I'm the applicant with Foresight Group.
Okay. All right, Sheila.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Do you solemnly swear that the evidence that you shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. You may be seated. Proceed.
All right, Stephen and David, Don and Oliver. Is that right?
Correct.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, those are all the applicant side. All right, who wants to speak first?
Stephen, do you want to give them a quick understanding of your position as the developer, and then I can handle the rest?
Yes, that's fine. Again, this is Stephen Galbraith, a commercial developer. This is a to be branded truck stop. We're working with one of the largest publicly traded brands in the country. This is one of several we're doing, not only in Georgia, but throughout the country. Our typical prototype layout on all of our sites. And we love the area. We love Macon, the excitement of being in an near industrial area off Interstate 75, a main exit that services, Loves, and obviously some industrial tenants. Really excites us as the developer and for operations as well. In regard to the additional out parcels, that's just future. We don't have anyone identified, but we're working very heavily with a truck stop operator right now, and we're excited to hopefully get this project done.
Right.
Great.
David?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Stephen. Foresight Group Engineering, 3740 Da Vinci Court, Peachtree Corners, Georgia. Working with Stephen on getting the site plan laid out. We're the civil engineering land planning group that's helping along with this. The site is a 31-acre tract, previously part of a residential estate that is being sold at the corner of I-75 and Sardis Church, surrounded on the north by the Macon Industrial Authority property and Loves, on the east by I-75. We're in the corner of the I-75 exit, right next to the on-ramp. The property is currently zoned agricultural. We're asking for a rezoning to M1 to accommodate a truck stop facility, as well as additional commercial use. The 31-acre property is larger than we need for the truck use, and we're trying to find appropriate uses for the rest of the property. The site is situated where the truck stop, similar to Love's, is going to be in between Frank Amerson connection and the interstate, and then lower intensity commercial uses will be on the west side of Frank Amerson side. The rear of the property flows from a environmental standpoint, stormwater to the west and to the south, and we've got some areas ready to accommodate stormwater management. On the west side, just from existing topography, you see on this site plan, there's something that we're calling remaining parcel, 11 acres. That area has significant amount of grade change as it goes down to a Copus Branch Creek, as well as some flood area and wetlands. Certainly some, if not all of that, will remain in its natural condition. And as we develop the high side up by I-75 and Sardis Church. The property is, we're asking for a rezoning from agricultural to M1, similar to previous, consistent with the area, the Loves and the I-75 Business Park, the Industrial Authority, 100 acres worth, the Amazon facility, the QT that was approved a little while back, all on this corridor, all had some version of either agricultural R1 AAA or PDC zoned into M1. So we feel our zoning is consistent with the area and associated overall scheme. We, some of you may be aware, we've been working with the Macon Water Authority. The property has public water available along Sardis Church Road. But as of right now, we will have to extend a sewer connection to service the property. So that's planned for and has been noted. This property also, based on the size, will constitute as a development of regional impact. That size is similar to Love's across the street, QT. They've all been associated as a development of regional impact. We went through that process and have received responses back from the Middle Georgia Regional Commission and are aware of their responses and are able to accommodate those. The size threshold in this case would be 3 diesel pumps or 10 truck parking spaces or more. And we certainly meet that threshold here. We look from the traffic use stance, which I know will be part of the conversation. We have put together some preliminary traffic data on this intersection and how it will respond to the existing traffic. Based on GDOT's 2019 counts, there's approximately 3,500 cars on Sardis Church Road west of I-75. We have looked at some trip generation information using ITE code 950 for truck stops. We believe our site, as well as Love's and associated uses, will generate an additional 5,000 trips per day, with a couple hundred cars in the peak AM and similar in the peak PM hours. This use will be consistent with Love's across the street. We've looked at some level of service at this intersection, and our side being when we distribute traffic, we're anticipating 90% traffic load coming back and forth between the site and I-75, and only distributing 10% of the traffic load from the westbound side. So westbound, we're likely to see a fairly nominal increase in traffic. The increase in traffic we're expecting to see is going to be in between the site and I-75. We've run some level of service counts at our intersection, and being a left in, right out intersection to I-75, we believe our intersection will run at a level of service of D or better, which is acceptable. Going through other notes here. From a location standpoint, we are aware that north and west of us is I-75 and Industrial Authority and M1 zone. The rezoning boundary for M1 on the far west side aligns with the current M1 zone north of us that's owned by the Industrial Authority. So we believe that we're asking for a zone that's consistent with the area. Now, we fully understand that further west of us, on the other side of the wetland and natural buffer, is a R1 AAA property. We believe that with the existence of the natural buffer, which in some instances is about 300 feet wide, maybe an average of about 250 feet wide of a natural buffer, we feel like we will be able to mitigate any of the adjacent use nuisances that the adjoining neighbors may see, lighting, noise being that far away. But certainly we understand that we're asking for an M1 zone adjacent to residential. To address lighting, consistent with standards, we would perform some photometric design study. We look at the lighting spread of those lights. Our tenant will require that to make sure that their parking lot is lit up in a way that is consistent with what they want. They measure that in foot candles. And usually as a part of those studies, and certainly in this case, we will explicitly look at the lighting spread as it would exit the property and maintain a 0 foot candle spread on any adjoining properties. We would not have any lighting that would spread onto adjoining properties. Those light types would be dark sky, all of the lights point down, not just big floodlights. This, we're asking for rezone to M1. Lastly, this, the future land use plan of this area, the 2040 future land use plan, is community commercial. That's set up to address regional needs. We feel like this property, along with the adjoining, complies with that future land use plan, what Macon has set out, Macon-Bibb County has set out. And lastly, I think part of the staff report that we received here says that the property as shown would be consistent with the 20-year vision of Macon. With that, I request that you consider the application, and please let me know if you have any questions.
All right, thank you very much. Don, did you have anything you wanted to say?
Nothing to add at this time.
Okay, Oliver?
I really don't. I mean, other than as a resident of this area, I mean, it seems consistent with the whole development of that interchange to me.
Okay. All right. We'll hear from the opposition then. Can we get all of those on so we can?
Jane, can we ask one question real quick?
Sure.
This area that's shown here, are you proposing that as public right of way, or is that just the drive that would be an internal drive to serve the property and the adjacent out parcels? Or it appears based on the plan to be that it is proposed as right of way.
No, our intention is that would be remain as private property. That can be a further discussion. The way that that property is kind of chopped up, we oftentimes in these cases, the users want to, don't want one private user to own the access, and we may split the ownership of that access between the users so everyone feels like they have a fair share.
So
no,
it would be labeled as an ingress egress utility easement?
Correct.
Okay.
But it would continue to be part of the remaining parcel of 11.04 acres.
That's how it's drawn today. There's a great chance that our truck stop tenant may say they want to own it, and we'd still put it underneath a cross access easement, ingress egress easement. That's how it's drawn today, is that 11-acre property owner would maintain ownership as the parent tract, but we could draw that differently.
And what about the tower back here? You're showing that existing easement cuts across the pavement.
That's right. So there's an existing access off Sardis Church and then a dirt road all the way back to that tower. Right now, the plan would be that tower stays in its current location. I do not know exactly how long its lease terms are to be there, but as part of our development, we would reroute their driveway so they don't have to use a dirt road anymore.
Would it come through your truck stop area, or you're not sure yet?
Most likely it would either come through the truck stop area unless there would be direct objection from the truck stop folks. And then we'd swing around a 10-foot wide easement on the backside of the truck stop curb and let them access on a dirt road. And those details we haven't worked out yet.
Gene, could I ask a question?
Sure.
David, you're asking to rezone what you call the remaining parcel. That's part of the rezoning, correct?
Correct.
All right. And you're showing a stub out at the base of the driveway to that remaining parcel.
Correct.
Could you expound on what you see happening on that parcel?
Yeah, absolutely. That stub driveway at the base of the access is intended to be extended east-west to service the back sides of out parcel 1 and 2, so that there would be no additional access onto Sardis Church. Out parcels 1 and 2 would also be accessed via this internal drive. So that stub right now is for out parcels 1 and 2 only. This remaining parcel, as you can see, half of it is wetlands and sewer easement, and the other half is about a 4-to-1 slope. there's a, you know, I can't say never, but there's a pretty limited chance that this area is economically developable. It would require a whole lot of earth movement and a lot of walls. So we plan the site today to stay on the high side of the property, and that remaining parcel as of today's plan would remain undeveloped.
Okay, so would you, what would your sense be if we didn't rezone that parcel? Just leave it as agricultural. If it's not going to be used for anything other than a buffer for the adjoining neighborhood, do you have to rezone that to M1?
I think that could be something we can consider together and decide if there's a great location to keep as agricultural along that western border. Our plan as of right now is in a design development stage, but it's not in a construction design document stage, meaning I can still see some minor adjustments to the plan. I think we could talk about whether or not there's a portion of property that we feel confident could stay agricultural. Not rezoning all of that remaining parcel as defined on today's plan. I'm not 100% confident that the plan won't shift a little bit, and I'd like to give us opportunities to make some slight adjustments.
Okay,
for example, the access to parcels 1 and 2, the access to that cell tower.
Okay, but are you fairly confident that the footprint, the site plan you're showing us won't change drastically?
Correct. Yeah, that footprint won't change drastically. That's correct.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Any other questions, commissioners?
Madam Chairman, I have one. I'd like to know where their intent is to put their primary display lights for signage.
The signage would be located for the primary display. You know, for purposes of a reference, just like Love's has done across the street, we would try to push the primary signage as close to I-75 as possible, where the cursor is right now. And then based on property width and how we're chopping up the property, there's a chance we may also request an additional sign at the intersection of Frank Emerson. Again, very similar to how Love's has done across the street.
In terms of height and everything?
Correct.
Right, they are allowed 100-foot tall sign because they're within 1,000 feet of the midpoint of the interstate interchange.
All right, any other questions? All right, then if we don't have any other comments or questions, we'll go to the opposing side. And per our rules, whatever time they need, we'll probably have to extend it, but the applicant will get an opportunity for rebuttal. All right, how many do we have now in or that want to speak for the opposition?
I've got 6 that have logged in, and maybe more since I had my list. So, but I've got David Stanecki,
David's actually the applicant.
David's the applicant. I'm
sorry.
talking about opposing.
Yeah, my bad.
Okay.
Let's see, Brian Green, Scott Tyson, Mitzi McMillan, Thomas Stahl, Jessica Malone, and I've got Commissioner Howell from District 7, I think, is signed in. Did I miss anybody?
All right, I hope you have reviewed the procedural guidelines, and we now need to get you sworn in. Sheila?
Do you solemnly swear that the evidence that you shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Jessica? Jessica? Thomas? Mitzi? Scott? There's Jessica. Okay, Jessica, did you hear the swearing in? Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, all that kind of stuff?
I do. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So I got Bill and Jessica. Do I have a Thomas? Mitzi? Scott? And Brian?
Madam Chairwoman, I don't think the others are on the call.
Okay.
We have Bill Howell and Jessica Malone.
Okay. All right. Then those two have taken the oath, so they will be allowed to speak. All right. Do you have a preference? Bill, you're on, so go ahead.
Let me defer to Jessica. I'll let her go first.
All right, Jessica, okay, there you go.
Hi, I'm Jessica Malone of 5478 Sardis Church Road. And I thank you for the opportunity to speak on this matter today. I just want to voice my opposition as a resident of the area. I have big concerns about the residential properties that will be impacted by this project. We have a lot of traffic coming and going now from the Loves and the Amazon facility, and I can't even imagine what it's going to be like when the QT is finished down the road. On paper, this looks like there's a lot of space from our homes to this new truck stop. That's not the reality of the situation. Many of us go this way every single day to get to the interstate, to get to our jobs and other commitments. Additionally, we are worried about the environmental impact as well. That looks like a very big truck stop, and I think there's a creek in that area as well as the wetlands behind it. So I'd like to know what kind of environmental studies have been done in reference to this. But overall, it's just very concerning to us as residents of the area that this project is coming through. We really don't want to see another truck stop here. And I think that's the gist of it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Bill.
Good afternoon, and thank you guys for having me and add me to the agenda. As you can well imagine, I have gotten multiple phone calls about this, and surprisingly enough, probably half and half for and half against the rezoning. And I realize that today we're talking about rezoning, not a site plan for the actual truck stop. The major concern, though, from both people that are for and against the rezoning is the traffic issue. Anybody that's out in this area and traveled this area knows that Frank Amerson intersection with Sardis Church Road is heavily traveled, and we've had some serious accidents there already. And I respectfully ask that you guys consider traffic signaling requirement on this, regardless of how we get to that point. I just don't see adding any more traffic out there without some type of traffic device, because there's just so much traffic out there. I don't want it to be said I'm on the opposition of this or for it. I'm just saying that traffic is a concern out there. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Any other people to speak? Randy?
No one else is signed in.
No one else signed in.
Okay. All right. Jessica, if you and Bill don't have any further comments, then we'll give the applicant rebuttal.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Please address the environmental issue that they brought up.
Yeah, thanks, Commissioner Howell and Jessica, for your questions. I heard two. Jessica, you had traffic and environmental. Commissioner Howell, you had traffic. We'll address environmental first. As a part of the development project, we start off doing environmental studies on the existing site. We'll do a phase 1 environmental site assessment, understand if there are any existing impacts. Based on that research, we'll understand whether or not we need to do site mitigation measures before we even show up on the property. Assuming the site is in a clean position now, the environmental impacts from places like this, we treat in a couple of different ways. One, the underground storage tanks are heavily regulated by both the state and federal level to make sure that that the petroleum products are properly maintained and stored. So from a petroleum standpoint, that is all regulated by much higher bodies from a state and federal level. From a local level, oftentimes we talk about environmental impacts, stormwater runoff from a facility like this with a lot of pavement and auto use. As a part of this project, we'll install stormwater best management practices and stormwater detention facilities and water quality facilities to address those concerns. And so we'll have provide state required water quality measures to make sure that the water leaving the site has been treated for this environmental condition. From a traffic standpoint, what I heard was a lot of traffic and a lot of traffic at the intersection of Frank Emerson specifically. And we can address that in a couple of different ways. But one is a lot of the traffic that you're seeing now is due to the Frank Emerson existing access, and a lot of that traffic needing to make a left out southbound from Frank Emerson to eastbound Sardis Church. And those lefts are a difficult movement. That's an existing condition. That is not us. That's today before we even show up. What we can do, what we have not done yet, but what we can do is perform signal warrant analysis to try to determine if this intersection meets GDOT's thresholds to install a signal. From a private party standpoint, we would be optimistic, positive towards installing a signal at this location. But there are a couple of regulations, both from GDOT and the local level, about signal warrant analysis that we need to do. GDOT requires 100% warrants for 8 hours. Oftentimes, because this is on a local level, we may be able to do 70% warrants for 8 hours and try to understand what kind of traffic mitigation measures there could be. I think the big picture point is that we would be agreeable to a signal. I think as we look at the traffic study that we performed so far, the worst performing intersection today with our site built into the model is still the Frank Emerson southbound onto Sardis Church, the existing road that has a level of service of F. Our site has a level of service of D, which is an acceptable level of service. And we have not yet done a signal warrant analysis, and something that we can do. Traffic is obviously a primary part of this business and is something that we want to see for the business. And the way that we're envisioning this is that all of that traffic will be in between all of distributed traffic. 90% of the distributed traffic will be within the site and I-75. And the installation of a signal we're acceptable to that. So we'd have to just continue to work with Macon traffic and engineering to make sure that that's going to be acceptable and meet the warrants for a signal.
Okay, thank you, David. All right. Then commissioners, do you have any questions or discussion?
I have a question for Jim. Jim, you said earlier, I think, that this is a county road, so the signalization requirement would be imposed by Macon-Bibb Traffic Engineering. Is that correct? Not any other entity?
Well, yeah, Frank Amerson and Sardis Church, they're both local roads, so that's strictly a local process.
So when does that happen? Is that subject to our review? I mean, we rezone it, but then to get a building permit, they've got to have traffic engineering compliance.
Well, it's kind of up to you. If the commission feels that that study better informs your decision, then you can require that be done. You could say, look, we don't have enough information. We need to know whether or not you're going to put a signal there. Whether it's warranted is really the question. But in addition to that, we won't issue a permit until they clear through the traffic engineering folks.
Jim and Josh, this is Oliver. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Do y'all not feel that would benefit the other parties that are already there if that's required?
I'm not sure I understand your question. What?
In other words, would the burden be completely on this development, or would it be, I'm asking, I don't know. I mean, would that be shared cost, or how would that go?
Well, it could go either way. I mean, if we think that the impact from this site is enough to warrant that study, then we could require that. Obviously, it will. There's more than just this site that impact that whole interchange. So,
right. Well, having just done the Buc-ee's deal down there at Russell, we obtained offsite, funding from every other municipality and everybody that was involved. I'm just asking.
Well, I mean, that's something that Bibb County could propose, that there be a bigger study, that there are more parties involved, and that maybe you can't take one snapshot of this one intersection and try to fix it. I know we've had issues with the other side of 75 and with turning movements and whatnot. So, I mean, there's that possibility that is bigger than just this site.
I'm just asking. I mean, I'm just asking.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that would matter a great deal to the developer as well. I mean, because bearing the cost of signalization is probably a $250,000 project by itself on top of whatever else they're planning on the site. So, I would think they would want that as well before moving ahead. It would certainly be my preference. And Jim, I thought your suggestion about leaving the back parcel agricultural is also a really good recommendation that I would love to see the applicant firm up their plans so that they could make that commitment, because it seems like that's, those really are the two biggest concerns for the citizens who are worried about it. So it seems like if we could get that traffic study done and a commitment on a portion of the parcel to remain agricultural, that would really mitigate a lot of the angst.
Jim, that was my concern too, that 11 acres and rezoning it. And in the future, we would, if we rezone it now, in the future, another commission could maybe approve something that would not be conducive to that neighborhood. So I agree with Josh, if we could, get some kind of commitment on the 11 acres.
All right, do we need to do that by a motion, or do we need to do a deferral?
Well, I think I would probably recommend you defer if these, I mean, David's folks has got to, they need to maybe firm up what they're going to do on that additional 11 acres. How much of that they're going to need to resolve whatever issues they've got with the driveway to the out parcels and the cell tower. And then of course,
Jim, if I could, I apologize for stepping in. Let me clarify a few things here. That 11 acres was, and maybe Stephen, you can jump in here. I think we'd be agreeable to finding a width of land along the western property boundary adjacent to the residential that seems reasonable to maintain as ag. I think, I just want to make sure we're clear. I think the 11 acres that we're talking about, 11 acres would not be the number that we leave as agricultural. That 11 acre number includes like the main access drive, the drives that would serve out parcels 1 and 2, part of the access that may or may not need to go back to the cell tower, and quite frankly, a lot of land that's still high, that's still above the wetland area. So I would, in the property owner's position and in the applicant's position, I'd hate to just say, let's leave 11 acres as agricultural. But I think, in some sense, there is a width of land that could be 200 feet wide along the western boundary that we could say, let's leave this 200 feet as agricultural and we'll zone the rest as M1. And then that keeps an agricultural buffer against the adjoining property.
Yeah, just to confirm what you're saying, David, this is Stephen Galbraith, the developer. We would definitely be amenable to that. And like David just mentioned, it's still in the design phase until kind of further approval. At that point, upon approval, we can take it to the construction document phase and then really figure out what the exact land amount is. But we would definitely be amenable to whatever is not being utilized to leave that at the current zoning for additional buffer.
And I think from a zoning standpoint, that could help clarify any tricky zoning issues that you guys have to go through. Let's just pick a width, and I don't have a width offhand, but let's call it 200 feet and say we'll preserve 200 feet as ag against the residential side, and that'll be reserved as natural buffer. And then when we look back at the zoning map, to Commissioner Jones' point, 10 years from now, we won't have some silly zigzag zone over there. It'll be nice and clean, and we'll know exactly what was done and why.
It'd be my preference for the applicant to work with staff during a deferral period to come up with a proposal. I mean, I don't want to legislate a set aside agricultural district right now. Find something that would work for everybody or come close to it, and we can negotiate or evaluate those specifics in another meeting. That would be my preference.
All right. Anyone with any other comments? Then I would entertain a motion.
What's the deferral? When will we be deferring it to? What would make the most sense? If we've got to complete a traffic study and have this agricultural thing evaluated, what's a reasonable deferral period?
You're probably looking at 30 days. So not the next meeting, but let's see, March 22nd.
All right, Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we defer the rezoning at 5250 Sardis Church Road to March 22nd.
Why?
For the purpose of completing a traffic study to evaluate signalization at the intersection and to establish a permanent agriculturally zoned buffer at the rear of the property.
Tim, was that a second?
Yes.
All right. We have a motion by Josh Rogers and a second by Tim Jones to defer this item at 5250 Sardis Church Road to our March the 22nd meeting in order to allow for time for a traffic study and discussion and implementation of a buffer zone on the west side of the property. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All opposed? So carried. That will be deferred to March 22nd.
Okay, and then we'll need, with Randy, need to get with David's folks and get with the county to figure out how the traffic study is gonna be done.
Okay,
Jim, we'll reach out to you and Randy and your staff and talk about next steps.
Sure, yep.
thank you, David.
Thank you very
All
much.
right. Anything else?
Ratify.
Items for ratification, Madam Chair.
Okay. All right, motion for ratification.
Let me make sure. So what we've got left, the two items that were proposed for ratification that were from previous agenda, those have been deferred again, right? So
Right.
we're looking at items 2, 4, 7, and 10. Is that right?
That would be correct.
Yes.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the items proposed for ratification: a conditional use at 540 Allied Industrial Boulevard, a conditional use at 2209 Vineville Avenue, a conditional use at 4295 Interstate Drive, and a conditional use at 9292 McCarroll Drive.
Second. All right, we have a motion by Josh Rogers and a second by Tim Jones to approve the the ratification items as discussed. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Did I get 3? All right, I agree with that. So all in favor, it's approved. All right, now I need a motion to adjourn, unless you've got something else, Jim.
Something quick. The next meeting, March 8th, we will have a administrative meeting.
Okay.
What time are we, for the sake of my calendar, what time are we starting those now?
12:30.
Okay. So 12:30 on March 8th we'll begin.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Did we have a motion to adjourn?
Jim and Randy, can you remain after the hearing, please?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Did I have a motion to adjourn?
Madam Chair, I move that we stand in adjournment.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Tim and a couple of seconds. That would be Josh and Gary. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. So carried.